Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Can
How
you
is
hear me?
everybody doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you? And can you hear
Oh,
me
good.
okay?
Well, I can hear you just fine.
Oh, good, good, good. Excellent. And oh, you are always dressed nice. You and you got that wild background. I got my tiara on, so yeah, we're both dressed up tonight.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
great.
so
It
cool
feels
this
good.
jacket.
It feels good to be back on Grizzly's station, and it feels good to be back with all my friends here, especially you. And this is going to be a great show.
Yes, it absolutely will be. I'm going to turn up the volume a little bit on my end just because it sounds too far away here. And my ears are old, so I've got to turn up the volume.
Do I sound good enough? Or if not, I can be quieter.
Oh, I can hear you. I can hear you better now. I just had to turn the volume up on my
Oh,
end.
that's
This
good.
is my laptop. That's all. And of course, I had a psychic fair this weekend, and for once it was local. Usually, I'm driving a couple hours, just to fairs to do readings. And this one was only a half hour from me, like 20 minutes, a half hour approximately from me, and in Bolton, Ohio. Hi, Chris. How are you?
Oh, hello, hello. How's everybody?
Oh,
Fantastic.
fantastic.
Yeah.
We're loving this. I'm so glad you made this happen. I'm so grateful, and I'm grateful to see you again. I'm so happy that
Hey, God is great. God is good. Angela, God blesses you and everything. And God bless Chris. And my health's getting a lot better. And I just want to say thank you all. You're all part of the Bigfoot Outlaw family. Always have been, always will be. We're just getting everything back together and back on the show. I just wanted to say hi and thank you, Angela and Chris. And I'm backstage if you need me. God bless you
absolutely.
guys.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye
We,
bye.
we
Bye
love
bye.
having you come back anytime. He's always great to see him, and it's
Yeah,
going to be.
absolutely. And this weekend, this time, this psychic fair was it's a holistic health and psychic fair, and it was at the Yolo Winery, which is here in Kimbolton, Ohio. And most people never heard of Kimbolton because it's a little town. But at one point, it was a major destination. It was a popular place back when the days of steam, when steam trains would power through here, and has some neat places. So I went to the Yolo Winery, and I finished up on another painting from the
Oh,
spirit.
that's beautiful. That is beautiful.
Thank you. And got the some people really like the sky whale
Oh,
at
I
the
love
pier,
it.
but I
Just
had
looking at that painting alone, you can almost get a whole story out of it just by looking at it.
yes, and I had a spirit come to me who was a French buccaneer back in the days in the 1700s, and he was
So,
shot. He was shot with because the French and if you know your history, French and the Spanish were fighting over Louisiana territory and different territories in the South, and they French lost and were pushed further out, and they ended up in Hispaniola. But he kept showing me this island. It's like, where do I know this island from? Well, that's Hispaniola. It was right off the coast of Jamaica, so that's where he ended up. And he showed me that, and he was showing me the water in the ship, and also a spirit animal came through, which is a whale that had kind of accompanied him. And I hope you like that painting. And this weekend, I also, when I did spirit portrait paintings for people, and there was one little boy who was extremely impressed because I picked up on a dog right away, and his mother and son were sitting there, and I described the dog, and I did a portrait, and he's like, "That's him. That's my dog." And everything you said is true because the dog came through and saying, "Well, I used to spin a lot." And he said his mom would make him spin. So, she did a little hand signal, make him spin. And he also said he used to just jump around a lot. When the leaves would come, he would just jump around in the yard, and he said, "There's a lot of music in your room." He said, "The little boy," and he says, "Yes, I play a lot of music." And I got into to his habits, and this dog just thanked him. He says, and for those of you who love pets, you don't think that they're grateful. They're very grateful. This dog said, Thank you, thank you, thank you for loving me like a person, not just a dog. And
Oh,
so
that's wonderful.
going to stay with him for a long time. And it was such a beautiful reading, and I loved it. And I was surprised in my readings, like how many spirits that are in this area. I'm in the most rural area of Ohio that there is, and Kim Bolton has maybe 5 buildings in it, the town of Kim
Yeah.
Bolton. But there's more ghosts there than there are living people there, and it's crowded with ghosts. And when during my readings, I was able to pick up on that because one of the spirit guides for a girl I was reading, this little girl, and she sees ghosts, and this angel was telling me there's a lot of ghosts here, and this angel is kind of controlling the traffic there, and kind of protecting her from all these ghosts in town. They don't mean any harm, but they're kind of just socializing and hanging out there in the place that they used to live and love, and that's very interesting. So
Oh
living with
yeah.
ghosts. I mean, if you live a ghost your whole life, you're going to see it in a different way than people that haven't had that experience.
Right. Right.
And
So
don't
sounds
forget,
like
if you want a reading, put your request in the chat, and I'll do a reading for you, a room reading for you.
yeah, we'd love to hear from you. Just put it in the chat, and so it sounds like you had a great weekend.
Oh, it's a great weekend, absolutely. It was beautiful weather, and since I was at a winery, of course, get to have wine. A lot of the vendors there get to have wine. They had a apple cider, like a hot apple cider,
Ooh.
um, with wine, and then they had like a hot chocolate, and they have all sorts of wines you can have, and sweet wines, red wines, white wines, a lot of wines, and it's a beautiful location too. And we're right where the GPS ends. So as soon as you end the driveway, no more GPS. That's where the cell phone tower influence ends. It's
Oh yeah.
just that's where you drop off the face of the earth as soon as you drive into the driveway. But a fantastic experience, though. Okay. And since people are asking for readings, okay, and is there a significant reason why
And it
my
sounds like we
card?
already have one question for you in the
Yeah,
chat.
yeah, looks like. Is there a significant reason why my car got hit for a third time this weekend? Please and thank you. Yeah, I ran into car issues myself, and then in the repair, they accidentally damaged another part of the car, so waiting for those parts to come in. Let me see. So, Chris L, is there a
Oh
significant
man.
reason why my car got hit for a third time this weekend? Okay, so the first rune I got is Tiwaz. So Tiwaz is the rune of victory. It's oath, it's promise, but also going to be broken oath and things like that. Aggression. I feel a lot of aggression with this. Next rune I got is Pertho. So Pertho is the future. It's luck. And the next rune I got here is the blank rune, but we'll skip that for now since that was blank. Is Yara. Okay. What the runes are telling me from this is just where you live, people are very frustrated and angry. And they don't have the right judgment, the presence of mind to be behind the wheel. So because of that, with all the aggression and anger around you, people are just running into you. And and it's just the circumstances that they live under, and it's just they're stressed out, and so they're not acting with their right judgment. In fact, and it seems to be quite an issue across the board. The airline said they got like a 700% increase in unruly passengers. Just because
Okay.
of stress levels going up, and they're being very aggressive. And that's what the runes are saying. What your situation is here, is just in town. You've got a lot of people that are just upset and aggressive because their financial strain they're going through. So I say a prayer. I say the rosary when I'm driving. So you might want to just consider, saying prayers while you're driving. And I've had people pray for me too while I was driving, and I had my car spin out, and it did a full 360. But for somehow, even though The back wheel had kicked out completely to the side, and I had no control. Somehow the car maneuvered in between two I squeezed in between two barrels without touching a barrel on either side and ended up in a safety zone, a construction area, and wasn't hurt at all, despite the being rush hour traffic and cars all around me. So I do believe prayer works when it comes to car accidents and preventing car accidents. So I would encourage you to pray.
Right. Another thing you can do too, and this does help, is that before you get into a car, or even when you get into a car, is envision a white light around you and the car, and envision that,
Mm-hmm.
and even if you want to say a few prayers or something, that would be your white light of protection to protect you and the vehicle as you're going about your day.
Oh, and Hunter Stalliard 3047. Please do a reading on me. Sure, I'll do that for you. And for some reason, I'm drawn to the cards for you. And these are rune cards, so these are just a different format here. And see what the runes have to say for you, Hunter. So, first rune I pick out for you, this is Feyu. Now, the camera's going to show it backwards, but normally it's an F with the arms kind of pointed upwards. And it's supposed to represent a cow. But really it has to do with things with having to do with money, with financial reward, disposable income, but it can also be about strength in the present time, having that endurance, that blessing. And the next rune I got is Iwaz. So Iwaz is the rune of regeneration, communication, also can be death and regeneration together. And the last rune I got is Iwaz. So Iwaz is journey, traveling, partnership. So I'm getting from this runes is I feel like that this runes are saying like there's a little bit of money set aside to take a trip. It just feels like you need that rejuvenation, like a vacation is what I'm feeling. And then taking that time to take that vacation, that much needed vacation. And I keep seeing a beach and palm trees. So someplace warm. And it seems like the runes are indicating that if it seems like you had this in the back of your mind, that it seems like it's a good time to go ahead and eat it, and that it is a gift for you. So if you feel the urge to go on a vacation and to take that little bit of extra money you save out, you've earned it, and you go ahead and take it. You'll get that refreshment. According to this is death and regeneration. Like, we need to regenerate. We need to have time to regenerate your mind and your spirit, refresh yourself. And
yeah, sometimes a good rejuvenation or regeneration can be very beneficial. So.
Oh, and I see Dowdell said, yeah, it's a small town for sure. Absolutely, it is a small town. Kim Bolton is a little place, but it has an amazing cemetery. And the paranormal experiences in that cemetery, if you take a spirit box and walk through that, they are very talkative there, and they will actually say their names before you walk up to their stones, before you walk up to their memorial. And when I go to a cemetery, and I want to be open to communication, I announce that I'm coming, and I just ask people and say, for all the people that monuments here and you have good memories here, you're welcome to come back and share those with me. I'd like to hear what you have to say. And then they'll talk and they'll talk and they'll talk. And
oh,
Natalie would like a reading too. So let's go ahead and get a I'm reading for Natalie. And I was, when I was doing readings this weekend, I was surprised that there were so many more spirits than I thought there would be in town. And this little tiny town is just packed with people, with spirits, packed with ghosts. And I don't know if any of you in the chat have had been one of the people, maybe like me or maybe like Chris, that grew up living in a haunted house, and you're going to see ghosts in that whole paranormal experience very differently than other people, right? Than other people that may not have grown up with it. Some
Right.
people be very, very startled and very fearful, where if you grew up with it, you're not. You're used to it. And so the first rune I got for you, Natalie, and I'm getting over the cold, so my voice is breaking up a little bit. So this is Perthos. So this is the rune of luck, the future. And then the next rune I got is Manas. So Manas is the rune of intellect, but it's also the rainbow bridge between the spirit world and the physical world. And I also got Willow as well. So Willow is that, like the most non-verbal runes, very positive. Success. It's also epiphany. It's light. What I'm feeling off of this for you, Natalie, it feels like to me that you are actually focused on a spiritual search, like making that connection with the spirit world. And with this, you actually have success with that. This is the rainbow bridge from the spirit world to our world. And the runes are saying you've made that connection successful, and you actually are bringing down light. So, and I feel light is around it, and the runes are saying that since you brought this light in, now that light is taking control of things and putting things in order for you, and is healing and is all around you, and is bringing out this incredible presence of heaven in your life. So a tremendous blessing, and reward for the work that you've been doing spiritually to make that connection is definitely paying off.
So sounds like good things. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's pleasant. Very pleasant.
Okay.
And our topic tonight is going to be on of course, ghosts and paranormal experiences. So if anybody's had any ghostly experiences,
Mm-hmm.
please tell us in the chat. Put it in there, and we'd love to hear from you. I myself have had years of paranormal experiences, so you feel free to ask me questions as well. And if you want readings, ask Angela. She'll give you a reading.
Absolutely. And here in town, the people are experiencing shadow people, and it's amazing how many spirits are here. But I've had experiences, and recently I've had a spirit follow me from the woods, because back behind where I live used to be all farmland, and then the state came in the 50s, bought that land up, and so those people had to leave. So, and I get back. When I go back there, the people have seen apparitions out there, like an entire family out there having dinner in the middle of the woods where there used to be a house.
Wow, that's
And
amazing.
I had an uncle that had whispering in his ear. He was in a deer stand, so he was like 30 feet off the ground, but there was whispering in his ears. And we didn't tell him about the activity we're seeing. And I seen orbs of light out there. I had a disembodied voice. This man's disembodied voice followed me through the woods. And I should have been able to hear him walk, because one, it was a dry day, so the leaves were crunchy. Two, where I was, the briar was really thick. I was in a really thick greenbrier, so you cannot go through greenbrier without making a lot of noise. But this man kept yelling for me, and his voice just kept following me, and I was the only one who heard it. And he was frustrated I wasn't responding. He just yelled his frustration, and I was trying to ascertain why he was yelling from me, and he didn't try to communicate again. I asked him questions, but he wouldn't respond to me.
And myself, of course, I've had experiences dating clear back to the day I was born. For those who don't know, I've had ET experiences. I've been involved with ET pretty much all my life. I've had numerous paranormal experiences. And of course, I work with a great group of individuals. We're SWPI, Something Wicked Paranormal Investigations. Our group does tremendous paranormal shows. You can find us all across social media. In fact, give me just a second. I got to plug in my computer here. I got the light coming up. Yeah, as I was saying, our group is SWPI, Something Wicked Paranormal Investigations. We're all across YouTube, even Facebook, and formerly we were on Amazon Prime. We have tremendous shows, and one of the things we just got done doing recently was investigating an old location, and I don't want to give too much away because I would like everybody to watch the show and be amazed. But it's a 2-hour show, and during our investigation, which was an all-night investigation, it was pouring down rain. And during that, of course, which amplifies paranormal experiences for those who may be unfamiliar or with that term, rain and storms do kind of ramp up paranormal investigations.
Mm-hmm.
During that length of time we were there, we had several encounters. One of them was a little girl that I was making communication with, and this was towards the end of the show. You'll see it on towards the end of the show. I had a communication with her. I even seen her with my eyes. She was standing in front of me, although the camera didn't catch this, but I actually seen her. And here's the thing: I captured all that on video and on audio as well. And when we left the investigation, everything was there. I even showed the footage to our crew, Bill and Jess. And when I got back home, or when we left the area, the information was wiped off the camera. It was like it didn't even exist. All I have is my memory and my words that it happened. Everything was erased. Just that evidence. Everything else, all the other
Wow.
evidence was still on the camera. Just that. And when we first got to the location, this is not a joke. I got the name Tom that came to me with my psychic abilities. Later on during the night, our cameras captured, I did not hear this, but our cameras captured a voice saying, couldn't tell if it said, uh, I am Tom or this is Tom. But, anyways, he clearly said Tom as if Tom was there. So that did validate the fact that what I was getting, there was a Tom spirit there. And we had numerous other things happen that night as well. But yeah, it was a great episode. And you can find that at SWPI Pekin, either on Facebook or YouTube. Search for it. It's a brand new 2-hour episode. There's tremendous evidence throughout the whole night. In fact, one of the famous crews, Ghost Adventures, was there, and not at that night, but they did a previous show there themselves, and they got evidence. And we were told no team has ever stayed there all night without running out leaving, but we made it the whole night.
Wow. And then somebody, Chris put down, speaking that, did a male spirit whispered, excuse me, in my ear at work today? I'm getting yes, because I actually drew the runes and I'm picking up a male spirit. So we got Helgelas, Tiwas, but it's upside down, and Kenyas. So what I'm showing by this runes, what I was getting off of that this male spirit is not in a good place. He's emotionally, mentally, he's not in a good spiritual state of being. He's actually in a state of chaos, like he's stirred up and upset. And with this male, it's saying that he needs to be led to light. So absolutely say a prayer for him, for your friend, for the spirit at work, and ask that the light open up for him and somebody come get him and escort him to the other side. He needs light. He is looking for it. He is in a state of chaos and darkness, personal darkness there.
Yeah, and just using my remote viewing skills in my mind, I'm actually seeing what Angela's talking about sending him to the light. I keep saying he needs to go higher. He needs to be up with me. Right.
Right. And
So,
and somebody here said they think they might have an implant. But do you have any abduction memories? I think Stone Picker 5627 talks about that they may have an implant.
yeah, I can help with that. If you think you have an implant, what I would suggest is, and it depends on, do you think it was recently put there, or have you had it there for a while? Because if it's recently put there, my suggestion would be to two things. Number one, take a black light and then kind of examine yourself. If there's markings that show up with that black light, you will not see it any other way. If there's markings that show up with the black light, that's a pretty good indication that you may have had ET contact, or that you probably did, and that is that is one of the reasons why the implant is there, because of the ET contact. And if the implant is there, I would recommend leaving it there. Do not remove it, because the implant is put there to help you. It is there to heal you. It is there to help you evolve in life. And it is the ET's way of watching over you to monitor your health. They don't put implants in people for anything negative. They're not trying to harm. So if the implant is there, it is to heal and help people. Several cases I've worked on and investigated where implants were there as a beneficial reason. Now, in time, they may come and take you and remove that implant. Once it's no longer needed, once they got your life or your health elevated to where it needs to be. But if you do have an implant, if it's bothering you, if you feel like it's harming you and bothering you, uh, let us know in the chat. But if it's not doing you any harm, then it's probably there for beneficial reasons.
Okay, and then Crafty says, I've been feeling off kilter, not really caring to socialize when you do a reading. Okay, so the first rune I got for you, I had was land goose. So land goose is flow. It's a life force. Here it's upside down, meaning it's reversed. It just means that your flow or your life force is not flowing at full power. It's just sort of stagnant right now. But the next rune I got is Tiwa. So Tiwa is the rune. It's the warrior's rune. It's oath. It's promise. This rune was telling me I'm big a message like you have the strength to keep going and also to pick yourself up and move yourself forward to get that life force moving again. It kind of takes a warrior mentality. And the next rune I got is Iwa. So Iwa is journey and moving things along. So this rune set is telling me that you need to take the initiative to move forward, to create your own momentum. You could do that, since I see this, to me this indicates some sort of physical activity. For me, it's martial arts. And that would, when I would get down, it's like martial arts are like was my best source in the wintertime to pick myself up because it encourages, to be more confident because you're doing that physical activity and coordination that is great exercise for your body and your mind, but it improves your confidence. And every time I would do that and engage in martial arts of, some kind, whether it was doing, an MMA type thing or whether it was actually in doing Krav class, jujitsu, whatever, it actually would give me a mood boost and I would feel this confidence and I would actually move forward. So these runes suggest something like that, where you take up something and you move forward with it, something that forces you to push yourself to a higher level. And that will stimulate that life force. Another thing, and this is apart from runes, and this is just from my experience, you can imagine also in your meditation and bringing on that light, and I'm seeing yellow orange for you. Bring that down, and then picture yourself as being connected with your higher self, and ask your higher self to help you in this, to move forward and find your motivation and your value, because your higher self knows you better than you do, and that's all your past life. That's all your accumulated knowledge.
All right. Great readings. Great job on the readings. Now let's see, who do we got next?
Okay.
Kate says I have to push to get up every 8 a.m. What age can I be amazing?
What age can I be an amazing human? I mean, any age really. I mean, only as far as I'm concerned, age is just a number. I volunteered for the area agency on aging and worked with them. And for people that are in their 70s or 80s, you can be amazed and be inspired at how much energy they truly have and how much wisdom and they have to offer and inspiration. So age is just a number. It really is, with your mental health and your outlook is youthful, you're going to be youthful.
Yes, and one thing I will suggest is that everybody who's listening, if you make your list, sit down and make a list of all the things you want to accomplish in your life. Make a list of all the things you want to do that's fun, and maybe the things that you wish you could have done or that you would like to do that you're kind of putting off. Make a list, and every day when you get up, cross off that list, go through it step by step, and tell yourself at night before you go to bed that you will accomplish this. Don't say you can, say you will, and make it a habit to say that every day. And go through that list. And don't worry about age. Go with how you feel. Do you feel like you want to do this? Do you feel happy? Do you feel motivated? Go with it. Don't ever limit yourself, because when you limit yourself, you're putting age on yourself that shouldn't be there.
Right. So much of that is your mental attitude. And I've heard that over and over again that people that work in nursing homes and care facilities, they say that over and over again. It's all about your attitude. Is, when people see themselves over and think they're old, then they're gonna age. But if they think
And,
themselves as youthful, they're not gonna act their age, and they're gonna be in better health than typical somebody in the same age group.
right, and I'm a hypnotherapist. I have got some great hypnotherapy audio tapes. They're kind of like a meditation hypnosis combo, and I got some on not only a confidence boosting, but also have some on taking you on a vacation. When you listen to the audio, it takes you on a nice vacation, but it gives you what it does is it gives you that young, vibrant courage that maybe you're lacking or that you wish you had, and it really elevates your positivity level. People who listen to those tapes, when they get done, they're like, wow, they feel so elevated because those tapes are meant for our positivity from the start to finish. I think for those who are interested, send me a message in the chat. I'll give you I'll hook you up with one of those.
Oh, wonderful.
And for
Very
those who are
talented, Chris.
for those who are looking for any kind of hypnotherapy or even meditation, I have a website called Otherworld Hypnosis. As people who may not know this, I'm now certified as a consulting hypnotherapist. Um, so my hypnotherapy ranges anywhere from confidence boosting, stress, anxiety, fear, anything you want, from smoking habits, you name it. And I can help anybody basically with any kind of needs they want and have.
That's
Okay,
wonderful. That's really
Kay
wonderful.
says for some Yeah, Kay says for some reason the accidental spelling was a joke, as so not as in person. Haha. Yeah,
Yeah,
hypnotherapy can be
magic.
so. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, hypnotherapy. Like you were saying, it's very powerful. I started getting into that and like making my own hypnosis tapes, so like in my own, doing my own visualization with my own voice, which I also found helpful because when I'm hearing myself in my own voice, it's even reinforcing that self talk even more towards that goal and that
Right.
visualization.
Uh,
I completely believe it. And when you read this, the how this like hypnosis started, was it Mesmer who originally started the hypnosis, and they didn't believe him at first, and people were
right.
experiencing healing, and people were calling him a quack, but it was people's own minds that were doing the healing because of the power of suggestion.
Yeah, and I've been doing hypnotherapy even before I got certified because I work with or those who don't know this, I work with MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network, and so we have a lot of times we have people that come in that they are having physical contact with ETs, and some of this stuff can be so terrifying, and I use hypnotherapy and a little bit of a meditation combo to help these individuals who are having this fear of being taken, because I don't like to use the term abduction because you're not abducted, but people having this fear of the presence of ETs coming into the room at night. So I give them handwritten meditation, and I base my meditation and my hypnotherapy for each person because using my remote viewing skills, I can see uh, how a person reacts, how a person handles things in life just by the tone of their voice. So I base
Mm-hmm.
my meditation and hypnotherapy on who that person is and how they intake things. So I give them special meditation, and that meditation will take them away from that fear. So let's say they go to bed at night, they listen to that meditation or read that script that I give them, or audio, and they read that transports their mind into a completely different altered state. That is something more calm, more beautiful for them. So when that the presence of ETs or paranormal, call it what you want, comes into the room, instead of them seeing that and being so fearful, their mind is someplace else. So in some cases, they can wake up the next morning and not even realize they had any visitation, because a lot of times ETs will not allow you to remember your visits anyways, and to have that completely not even a part of their life anymore because maybe they're so scared of it. I've done my job because I've helped that person erase the fear and get not only get their life back, get their sleeping habits back in order, and in time, of course, maybe the ETs will allow them to remember more of their. I don't want to use the term abduction, but call it what you want. Because sometimes when you get older, ETs will allow you to remember your visits more, or allow you to remember their visits more. But initially, that stuff can be so painful. And if I can use hypnosis or meditation or even a combo of to take that fear away, and that's an amazing tool. So yeah.
Yeah, and that works with the paranormal too. So people who have been traumatized by their paranormal experiences, and taking that fear away, it does so much. I mean, as a child, I mean, I was terrified because I had shadow people, entities that were actively attacking and terrorizing me, and I stood up to them. I got tired of being scared, and then after standing up to them and seeing that they backed off a bit, um, I started to lose my fear. And there's not a whole lot of places that I've been to where, since I was a kid, since I kind of faced those paranormal bullies, in other words, as a child, I am fine with facing them still now, and I just don't have that fear. It's gone, and it makes investigating the paranormal much more interesting, and I'm able to gather more evidence. For example, for apparitions, I run towards them. I don't run from them.
No.
Um, and I've had the experience with phantom footsteps. Like, for example, at the Anchorage Mansion in Marietta, had phantom footsteps walk up the porch steps. You hear them walk across the porch, come right up to the threshold, and all of us heard these steps, and you couldn't see the person making the steps, but you could hear every single step, and you could tell the person's right there in front of us. And all of us heard it. There's three of us there. We could all witness this. And I said, you know what? I'm going to stand outside. I'm going to step over that threshold and just see what happens and who's out here. And when I did that, those footsteps turned and ran from me and ran all the way down the driveway out into the street. Which is, it feels like I startled a ghost, when I stepped over that threshold. Normally you might hear that the other way around, but somehow the spirit didn't want to have anything to do with me and just turned around and just beat feet all the way down to the street. I kind of find that a little bit funny because I could say, well, I scared the shit out of the ghost.
Oh yeah. A lot of people get confused. A lot of people get confused because they hear thumps or they hear noises at night, and the first thing that happens to them is they immediately they get fear. They don't realize that the spirit or whoever that is may be lingering around that house because at one point that was their house or that property. I'll give you a good example of that. Very good example of that is the fact that so I did a investigation about 3 years ago at a bed and breakfast, and I stayed in this bed and breakfast alone at night. Now upstairs there's a child's room, and you can sleep up there too, but I didn't. I let because there's a child up there, a little girl that plays with toys and stuff at night. She only comes out at night because she's afraid of people in the daytime walking around, all the business people. But at night she plays with her toys, plays ball, and all that. So I go into the guest room at night to sleep, and I could hear her running around, giggling, laughing, bouncing the balls, playing with her toys and trucks. Now, of course, most people would hear that and probably run out the door. Oh no, oh no! But I put myself in that little girl's shoes. Okay, so you got a young girl. Okay, you got strangers coming in during the daytime, walking around with their suitcases, their business briefcase, and whatever they're doing. And so, as a little girl, you're going to be scared. You don't know who these people are, so you're going to hide. But then at nighttime, when everybody leaves and it's more quieter, you're going to go around and play with your toys, have a good time. And so she was there. So what did I do? I introduced myself to her. I'm Chris Harmon, just sleeping here tonight. You can play with your toys if you want. I won't bother you. And just speak to her just like a friend, and even let her know that I'm just here to be friendly. That's it. So I did my remote viewing work, my psychic work, and I was able to get information from her and about the fact that she's just a little girl, about 12 years old or thereabouts. I'd have to get my notes out to remember exactly what all I put down. But young girl, and I even drew a picture of her. And a happy little girl. I mean, she just has fun. I was there 3 nights, and all 3 nights I was there, she played with the toys at night. She didn't run and hide from me. One
Mm.
night while I was there, I asked her if she could come down the steps and show herself. So she did. I caught her a picture of her, and the picture is unmistakable. You can see the little girl with the old style knicker shorts that the girls used to wear, and you can see her long hair. Wonderful, wonderful photo. I have to show it sometime. But it just goes to show that sometimes we as humans we can hear things or even see shadows or ghosts, and our first instinct is get out of here. That's bad or that's scary. But if you put yourself in that person's shoes, it could be a young girl, an older gentleman, or even just a middle-aged person. But if you put yourself in their shoes, you realize, okay, they're just like us. They don't understand what's going on necessarily, other than they're trying to live their life, and there's nothing to be afraid of.
Right. And so I was asking, are you was you curious about Sasquatch? Around here we call him the grass man because of the long hair that they have. I've spent a lot of time in the outdoors. I myself have not had any encounters with Sasquatch or grass man. I've heard I heard very believable accounts, and one from my own family where he heard a whistle and he thought it was another hunter. He heard a whistle, just like another whistle. Another hunter would grab your attention, and he sees something big and very tall. I could tell how tall it is because you know how tall the tree that he was looking at, and it like peeked out and then stepped back, like saw him and like, oh, somebody's there. I need to step back. And I believe this person, and I believe that they're out there. I think they are real beings, but I'm just not, I'm not sure how the world is ready for that, especially when you talk about different state department, Department of Wildlife. You know, Here we have the Ohio Department of Wildlife and Resources, Natural Resources, how they treat that. And I think they're not ready to kind of come out with some of what they've seen, and it depends on each state too, because I think there was one state that actually they found something that looked like Bigfoot on a trail cam, and they released that on their Department of Wildlife, and I don't know which state it was. I think they're out there, but I think they're more intelligent that we give them credit for, or that we're willing to give them credit for, and that you have to treat them respectfully, right? Because any being that lives out in nature, whether it's a deer or bear, you'd have to respect their territories and respect their land. That's their land, and they are there. I try to be polite and back out of there if I think if I'm violating some animal's territory that more powerful than I am, and I'm not supposed to be there. I'm going to be backing out slowly and let them know I'm okay. I'm backing out. I'm leaving you to your space. Give them the space that they need. I don't know how. If we confirm that they exist, it could be detrimental to them too. Because if you think of the new animals and species that we found, a lot of times people have such an impact on their habitat, and everybody wanting to see them all of a sudden, and all of a sudden they're encroached upon, kind of overwhelmed. So it could be a double-edged sword to um, expose them as factual human beings, or factual beings of some kind. Maybe they're not human. Maybe they're in the same human family tree. I don't know. Um, but that bringing them out in the open and making them official, okay, these beings actually exist, could be detrimental to them, and it may be better for their species to kind of um, be undisturbed and kind of secretive and protected that way.
And they do like peanut butter. I don't know if you've heard that or not, but they do like peanut butter. I actually know. I actually met a woman. This is not a joke. On one of the other
Mm-hmm.
shows I've done, and she used to feed. She'd go and get a jar of Jiffy peanut butter, leave it out in the woods, and they would eat this. She'd get the big like jumbo things. And I kid you not. Okay, this is they would eat that, and they would bring the empty container, or Sasquatch would, back to her front
Wow.
door, and then she, no joke, and then she would know, okay, I need to get more. Now there was one time that she didn't get the right kind of peanut butter. She got a different brand, and so if I remember correctly, she said that they left the jar like upside down, or left it kind of not situated correctly. Let her know that they ate it, but it wasn't his favorite.
Wow. Wow. They're very clear on what they want. No, I don't know if, and I wonder if they have a language. I wonder how sophisticated they truly are socially. If they're doing that, they probably live in close family groups, and they probably have a very good communication system with each other that we might be able to learn. I wonder so much about them.
Yeah, they live. I mean, I want to say they don't. I don't want to say they live just like us, but they live out in the forest, out in the woods. I and it seems kind of strange because you never actually see them like you would normal everyday traffic. You don't see them constantly, but they are there.
Right.
And there are rumors that they come through portals, which could be possible. I have no. I don't know if anybody has any proof of them coming through portals, but they do come around. They're mainly seen at night. Um, I only say this because the woman that I spoke to, she would leave the peanut butter out at night before she would go to bed around 7 or 8, and then at some point the next day, the empty jar would be sitting on her doorstep, and she never actually met them. All she did was hear them, but she saw the footprints, and I wish I had photos to show her, but that would be amazing.
And that would be
I
amazing. And yeah, intelligent because it'd have to be high intelligence. They're avoiding us. We're only seeing them on occasion, but that would mean
right.
that they're really intelligent and they're deliberately hiding out, and they probably have ways of observing us, figuring out our habits, and figure out where not to be when when we're out there.
But there again, would we be willing to welcome them? Just like
Mm.
would we be willing to welcome the ETs if they came and showed themselves? Or would our first instincts as humans be to run and hide or shoot and kill? And that, uh, pardon my language there, but yeah, I mean it's a matter of all of us getting on the same page to welcome other things into our lives that we haven't welcomed in yet.
And let's see, did Dowdell help her deceased aunt cross over this weekend? So let me see, Dowdell, see what the runes have to say about that. So the first rune I have is Yara, which is a cycle, but it's also going to be completion. And the next rune I got is Feyu. Okay. And then we have another rune here, Kenya's, which is light. So based on what I'm seeing here, yes, it looks like something has been complete. From what I'm seeing in the runes, like she's crossed over in that she is actually like it looks like she's looking at a recording. It's like watching a movie of watching her life and the people around her. It's what I'm getting the impression of. Is like she's successfully crossed over, but she's reviewing everything. Right? She's seeing her life. She's seeing how she affected other lives, and she's sitting there and watching this with great interest right now. And I feel like she's going to come back and visit because she's going through that right now. I'm watching that review and just kind of see, and getting, information and counsel that way. But I feel like she's going to come back and visit and leave you a message for sure.
And they can come back once you cross over. You're able to come back occasionally
Mm-hmm.
from time to time and visit. I know here just a couple years ago, my grandfather, who's been gone since 1996, this was a couple years ago. We were taking photos of our Christmas tree, and we just gotten a brand new tree that has one of those remote controls. You can change the light patterns, and it rotates around. Real beautiful. I was taking pictures to show my girlfriend, my friend Rachel, and as I was taking photos, when I looked at the photos back, they're sitting at the kitchen table with my grandfather, smoking a cigarette and having his coffee like he did every night. And
Wow,
so he was coming back to visit.
that's really good. I've had that experiences with my dogs too, and I had a bird that passed that came back and visited me in spirit, and
Oh,
that was
that's pretty interesting, I bet.
wonderful experience, and I just felt so much love. You know, a little tiny little finch I love so much, a little zebra finch. And if you ever seen them, they're very tiny. They're gray, and they got a black and white striped tail. And I had this favorite little finch, and we were just best buds. And then when he passed, you know, one day was just like getting ready to go to work. I'm standing in front of my mirrors, just making sure to brush my hair and brush my teeth. And I feel this loving presence, and this feather just appeared in front of me out of nowhere, and just landed in the center of my hand. And I knew it was this. This was my finch, and I could hear him say, "I love you. I miss you, and I'll see you again." And I said, "Thank you for visiting me. I love you too." And the feather, and when I said, "I love you too," and it's okay to cross over, the feather disappeared in front of me, just right in front of me, just gone out of existence. And I felt him leave. And that it's an amazing experience to get that visitation, because when they've crossed over, they already are coming from a place of love, and they bring love with them when they come visit.
Oh yes, now I know that. I got a similar story. My cat, who was a white Himalaya with blue eyes, beautiful cat. Me and him were like this together, and
Mm.
and a couple years ago, 'cause I was with him the day he passed away, he just looked up at me and then just fell asleep in my arms. So I was holding him. But a couple years ago, I was sitting in a chair watching television. I was missing him, of course. And about that same time, I felt a brush against my leg, and I heard his purr. So I knew he came back to visit, or came back to see me.
Aw.
And then I had a psychic reading, a lady who does pet readings, and I wasn't for sure if she was really picking up on my cat or if she was just trying to make money. But I listened to everything she said, and then then she started crying. She goes, "He still protects you," and I thought, "Well, that's nice." And she goes, "He still laughs at all your jokes." I thought, "Okay, apparently she is talking about my cat then." For her to know that I tell jokes and all that, because when I speak to psychics or people I don't know, I'm usually just being straight until I get to know
Right.
them. Then I start being joking. But for her to say that, okay. And I see we're just about out of time here on our show. I think it's a 1 hour show, unless we can go as long as we want.
Well, if you want to go another 5 minutes, if they kind of start a little bit late, and then
Yeah,
I'll just
let's do
go
another 5 or
5 minutes
6 minutes.
over, just because we started just a little bit late. So I just want to make sure. Does anybody have any questions or and one more reading before we close out, or anything like that?
Yeah, if you have one more question, feel free, or a question for her or me. Just so everybody knows, I do teach remote viewing. So if you're interested in taking my remote viewing courses, let me know. I teach 7 different levels of remote viewing. I teach the basic course, followed by the healing course, which is a fun course, a course on influencing, which is kind of like mind control, but I use it for positive. I also have my advanced course, and then my time travel course. And for those who are interested in time travel, that is an amazing course, because I teach you how to go back in time, past and present, to the future, and see things and even interact. And it is an amazing course. I went and used that time travel course to go to concerts and stuff. And one of the first concerts I went to with my time travel was Elvis Presley, and I've been to some others too, like Phil Collins. It does work, because I used when I went to see Elvis, I took a photograph of the concert, because I took myself there. I got a photograph of it, so it's amazing. And the courses are very reasonable price, only $200 per course. That includes your certification. So once you get your certification, um, you can then move on, advance to the next course, and take as many courses as you want. And the courses are fun. I don't teach anything hard. It's all very simple. I match my courses with the people, so I teach at their level, so it's fun.
And then what I do is when people sit down from me, I actually paint portraits of the spirits that I see in people's auras. Those are your spirit guides, your angels, your spirit animals, and then I relay their messages as I'm painting. So when I'm doing psychic fairs, I do that in about 15 minutes, and I do something that's more comprehensive. It's called like a spirit message package, where For $150, I do a large acrylic painting instead of a chalk portrait, so it's more durable. Then I'll do rune readings for each area of life, for health, um, your relationships, your future, and see what those runes say. I'll print those out. Plus, I print out all the impressions that I got, and I incorporated all the images that your spirit guides are giving to me as a message, as well as the spirits themselves. And then I send all of that and I ship that out to you. So that way you have this, and you have a way to also, with that painting and with that reading, you have a way to connect with those spirits. You can use that painting to reach out to your guides because their energy is right in that painting. And so
Right.
that's something I really enjoy doing, and the spirits are grateful that I do that. I consider it a gift because I consider it an honor to be able to do that. And of course, um, and anytime I do these psychic fairs, I'm just so grateful because I always learn something new from the spirits. They surprise me, and they figure out a way to surprise me in some way. And that was amazing because everything was this past weekend. It was just so clear. It's like as clear as day. I saw this uh, child's dog sitting with him and painting him, and like right away. And that was amazing. And when you talk about cats, I did one reading for a lady where her cat came through. I painted not only her cat accurately, but told her where her cat liked to lay in the house, described the inside of the kitchen where she liked to hang out, also the outside where all the cars, how many cars she had, and the other cats, described the other cats, and then her favorite place to hang out when she would work is to go into the bathrooms. And she said, yes, so, a veterinarian. I took this cat to work with me, and the bathroom was her favorite place to hang out at work. And of course, the spirit comes through, and animals come through. But when souls come through and they communicate, they will show you images, and they speak to you in ways that they give you the feeling. They sometimes actually are very touching in a way they communicate. Sometimes they'll kind of lead you down one area and then spring something else on you to let them know that it's really them, and
Oh
for
yeah.
the person that you're reading for, and which is a wonderful experience. I did one with the horse that it took less than probably 3 minutes for the painting because the energy was so strong, and there was a horse and black horse and a lightning bolt, and this horse was been with his family for literally thousands of years, and was a horse that was a family animal that they relied on for everything, especially for self-defense. They would mount that horse and run off invaders with it. And this horse became so attached to the family and so protective of the family that it became a very strong and very wise spirit guide. And it was just amazing how much energy. I had no control over my hands. The horse painted itself. And that was an incredible experience.
Oh yes, and a lot of times you can tell when your animals are coming back to visit because sometimes you'll get that aroma, that smell that they used to have
Hmm.
that lets you know they'll have, even with loved ones, even family members. Like I'll smell my grandmother's perfume every now and then, that special cologne or perfume that she wore or whatever it was. Yeah, I know that's her because nobody ever wore that except for her. I don't necessarily hear the voice, but I will smell, and that's she's here. And she always comes around about the time I'm thinking about her or thinking about something in relation to her. That's when I get the
Now I smell
message.
my grandpa's tobacco, tobacco pipe that smoke. Yeah, he smoked a pipe for. He quit for like 20 years. So towards the end of his life, he wasn't smoking anymore. But when he comes around, I still smell his tobacco pipe because he smoked a regular pipe, the old fashioned pipe. So
Oh
uh,
yeah, my grandfather did too. Get there and
I
light
can
it up.
smell that, and my grandmother wore windsong perfume, so I guess I smell that every once in a while. So yes, and I've heard my dogs bark. I mean, after the past, like you recognize their voice and you recognize that unique bark that they have. And I've had my one of my dogs bark. She barked right next to my bed, and I just said speak, and I heard her bark like she was physically there, right next to my bed.
Oh yeah, in a way she probably was for sure. and they come back to visit because they were so connected to us. And in some cases, the animals knew us better than we knew ourselves.
Mhm.
Like my cat and
You
I always.
I see Stone Pickers talking about that it happened once with your mom's perfume. You said, and that you were in the room by yourself. And yeah, a lot of us too will get as psychics. We'll get psychic smells, and it's kind of strange for me because it's like I smell the place before I know I'm going there. I smell it. it, like for example, and there'd be no explanation for it. If, for example, I would be at work somewhere in an office building, and all of a sudden I smell fresh cut hay, and I smell what else say, like I smell like animals, and I could smell that, and I could also smell like a barn like smell, and I'm like, okay, where is this? And then and turned out being a fair that had animals and fresh cut hay for the animals because they were bringing animals in as part of the psychic fair. They were exhibiting some animals there, and so I smell that ahead of time. I smell flowers ahead of time. And sometimes that's how my spirit guides will communicate. If I'm smelling cinnamon, then that means there's a financial blessing coming. If I smell chocolate, it means a lot of family warmth and support, a lot of friendship. So that's one of the ways they communicate with me is through smells.
That's great. That's great. And yeah, and a lot of times the spirits and even animal spirits or humans, either way, they will leave certain smells or clues to indicate they were there. They would give you something familiar that lets you know it is them for sure.
Yeah. So
And I think
I
that.
think. Oh, go ahead,
Go ahead.
Chris.
No, you go first. Women first.
Oh, I was just going to say, does anybody have any questions tonight, or observations, or comments tonight before we leave?
Yeah, it could be a question for me or Angela, or maybe a question about spirits or ETs or anything. This has been an amazing show so far. I think we got a lot of good information put out to the public.
Of course, and you can stay in touch on my. Of course, I have a website. You just Google Angela Bowley Psychic Portrait Artist, and you'll see my Facebook page, my website. I'm on Instagram. There's an app called A Little Bit of Kindness where I have a few videos on that. And you'll keep in touch with me because I post my schedule on Facebook and on my website. And I hope to be in Lancaster on a regular basis now, on a monthly basis in Lancaster, Ohio. So if you're not familiar with that, that's closer to Columbus, and I'm hoping to do readings down there in downtown Lancaster as soon as my car is completely fixed and ready for this long drive. But thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Stone Picker. Thank you for the compliment and the makeup. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. But I want to thank you for everybody participating, and thank you, Chris, because the ET and the whole UFO and extraterrestrials, I don't have a lot of experience with, so I'm really benefiting you. I'm really benefiting from your knowledge and experience in this because I just haven't had that.
And for those who want to get in contact with me, there's multiple ways. I'm all across social media. Just Google my name. You got all kinds of videos to look at and documentaries. But I'm also found on Facebook. You can find me on Chris Harmon on Facebook or through our paranormal page, SWPI, on Facebook or YouTube. I also have my Other World Hypnosis Facebook page. And you can find me on the NGH, National Guild of Hypnotists website, ngh.com. I'm there as well. And a new job I just started, I need hypnosis.com. It's a new hypnosis company that just got launched, and they're just now we're starting to get more clients in, things rolling. I'm found there as well. You can also find me as a professional photographer as Otherworld Photography, and also MUFON.com to learn about ETs and casework and things that we do there. If you have an ET sighting or a UFO sighting, go to MUFON.com and report it. We don't care if it's a sighting from 200 years ago. If you got a family member that had a good sighting, tell us about it. We want to hear. We investigate anything UFO.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Chris, and thank you for coming and watching us tonight, and we will definitely see you next week at 9 as well, Eastern Time.
Thank you very much. And I want to
Thank
say
you.
thanks to everybody for coming here tonight. It's been a fantastic night.